This back to school season, parents and children might be a little anxious for different reasons, and bullying may be one of those issues. Well, there's one group that hopes to tackle that through music. Joining us now is Burd, the executive director of Speak Life Performing Arts Company. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, we're glad to have you. So tell us more about your mission and how you're hoping to change things for these students.
Sure. Speak Life and Bullying is a suite of resources for parents and for principals, for teachers or for pastors to be able to bridge the gap in the conversation about mental health and bullying with their students.
And why is that such an important conversation to have, Dan? We know that there's so many children across the country and world who deal with it just constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, well, ultimately that's the goal, is to reduce that number, and we would love to see that number go down to zero. It's important because we can all remember what happened to us as kids. We can remember the names, we can remember the places, the faces, and for some people, very lucky few, that helps to drive them to a better place. But for many people, including myself, it kind of puts us on our heels and sets us back, and it's a very difficult thing to go through. So our goal is to challenge students to speak life. We know that if we can get students to begin speaking life, that it's actually going to shift the culture inside the schools, and if we can get parents to do it at home, it'll help to shift the culture at home as well.
Sure. A lot of times kids may not feel comfortable opening up about what they're experiencing. So what are
That's
some of
right.
the signs that a child could be suffering from bullying?
Yeah, there are definitely signs to watch for. If things that they love are being broken, if they are and they're not wanting to talk about it, if they're coming home and you're asking them how their day is and they're being, kind of reclusive. And we know when we're dealing with kids and when we're dealing with teenagers, anytime you ask them how your day was, they say, okay, fine, or, great, or okay, they don't really give you a full answer. And I think that's one of the things that our program does so well, is it helps to actually open up students to create those conversations with your kids so that you can actually begin to ask those questions in a place where they want to talk to you. It helps to open up kids to be able to want to talk to you so that you can ask those difficult questions to begin to know whether or not your kid is one of the 10% who may be bullying other students, or whether or not they're one of the 30% that might be a victim of those bullies, or if they're just kind of the 60% of kids that stand by and watch it happen. And then you have the ability to really speak into their life once you know where they sit.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, you also talk about looking into whether or not your child is the one who is doing the bullying. How do you find those kinds of signs, and how do you have that conversation?
It is a very difficult conversation to have, but it starts at home. It always starts at home. You have to be able to be open with your children. You have to create an environment in your home where they're willing to talk to you, so that you can bring up those difficult topics. There's no real one key to success for parents, because every kid is different, and there's so many reasons why kids may consider themselves to be a bully. I think the thing that we really need to understand is that when you break down, even in schools, the 10%, the 30%, and the 60%, I think each of us have that as well. That 10% of the time we may be a bully, and 30% of the time we may be that victim, and most of the time we just stay out of it. So it's really identifying those moments, not saying, are you a bully, are you not a bully? Because most kids would say 90% of the time, I'm not a bully. So for us, it's more about getting to the questions that will allow them to say, yeah, I've done that before, or I've been in that situation before. And I think that that's really what our program focuses on, is helping parents open those conversations so that a kid wants to say, I've been in that position before, or yes, I've done that before, and helping them to understand that, you know what, we've been there too, and that there's a better way that they can choose.
Yes, and you talk about speaking life. That is so important to do. You never know what kind of day a person's having or what they've
That's
been
right.
through. How do you get that message across? And also, how can people get involved with the work that you're doing?
Yeah, we do that in three ways. We have our musical, Speak Life and Bullying the Musical. We also have lesson plans for the schools and modules for the parents that they can follow. And if they're interested in knowing more about this, you can go to speaklifethemusical.org, speaklifethemusical.org. If you're a parent, you just click on the parent button. If you're a school, you click on the school button, and that'll take you to where you need to go. And if you're just out there and you're like, you know what, I love what this is, but I want to be a part, and you can donate there as well, right on the website.
All right, Dan, an important conversation to be had. Thank you so much for stopping by. We wish you all the best with your program.
Yes. Thank you for having me.